You already know this story, and it's wrong. Little Albert Einstein, the worst student in his class, the boy who flunked math, the teacher who swore he'd never amount to anything, and then he grew up and rewrote the laws of the universe. You've seen the poster on a classroom wall, you've heard it in a graduation speech, maybe a teacher handed it to you the year algebra was eating you alive. Relax, Einstein failed math too. It's the most comforting story in American education, the patron saint of bad report cards. It's on coffee mugs, it's in pep talks from coaches and CEOs. It may be the single most quoted fact about the most studied brain of the 20th century. Proof that the kid in the back row, doodling while the class moves on, might secretly be its greatest mind. If Einstein got an F, your F might be a prophecy. Except that's not what happened. Einstein never failed math. Not in grade school, not in high school, not once, anywhere, ever. And we know exactly where the story came from, down to the year, the newspaper feature, and the business that sold it. The grades exist. The exams exist. You can still read them. Don't take my word for it. Here's the record. Start with the man himself. In 1935, Einstein was 56 years old, a Nobel laureate, the most famous scientist alive, settled in Princeton, New Jersey. That year, someone showed him a newspaper cartoon. It was Ripley's Believe It or Not, a syndicated feature running in hundreds of American papers and read by millions every morning. The caption said, "Greatest living mathematician failed in mathematics." Einstein laughed. Then he answered, and the answer survives word for word. "I never failed in mathematics. Before I was 15, I had mastered differential and integral calculus." Hold on to that sentence. Calculus is the course most Americans meet as college freshmen, if they meet it at all. Einstein taught it to himself before he was old enough to shave. No class, no teacher, no grade. That's not a man denying a bad mark. That's a man amused that anyone believed it. But maybe he was bragging. Old men polish their childhoods. A good skeptic doesn't trust memory, not even Einstein's, when there's paper to check. So let's pull the paperwork. September 1896. Einstein is 17, finishing high school in Aarau, Switzerland. His final exam papers still exist. The handwritten originals sit in the State Archive of Canton, Aargau. And in 2001, a Swiss mathematician named Herbert Hunziker published them, problem by problem, in the peer-reviewed journal Elemente der Mathematik. His geometry exam? A 6. His algebra exam? A 6. On the Swiss scale, 6 is the ceiling. There is no higher grade. A perfect score, twice, graded by his own math professor, Heinrich Ganter. And Hunziker's printed conclusion is as blunt as a math journal gets. Einstein was by no means, as falsely claimed again and again, the school failure who later made a career. So is there any failure in the file at all? Yes. One. It's real, it's documented, and it points the opposite way from the poster. October 1895, 1 year earlier. Einstein is 16 and a half. He applies to the Polytechnic in Zurich, one of Europe's elite technical universities. 2 years younger than the admission rules allowed, with no high school diploma, after months of studying completely on his own. He takes the entrance exam. He flunks it. Now read the university's own account of that exam. The best results in the mathematical and natural science subjects. What sank him was everything else, the French, the literature, the history. A 16-year-old dropout walked into a college exam built for adults 2 years older, beat its math and science sections, and got filtered out by the humanities. The one genuine failure in Einstein's school career proves the exact opposite of the legend that grew out of it. So how does the kid who never failed math become history's most famous math failure? Watch the machine work. The earliest documented version of the claim anyone can point to is that 1935 cartoon. And Ripley's was not a research institute. It was an entertainment business that sold astonishment by the panel. Believe it or not is a dare, not a citation. But a bad source only explains the spark. It doesn't explain 90 years of fire. For that, the line needed a job. Here's the mechanism. This myth is a re-captioned photo. The picture underneath is real. Young Einstein truly did flunk a major exam in 1895. But somewhere between Zurich and your classroom wall, the caption got swapped. Failed the language sections, 2 years underage, became failed math as a boy. And the wrong caption won, because the wrong caption is useful. Genius fails math, comforts every struggling student, flatters every late bloomer, and fits on a poster. Genius aces math but flunks French, comforts nobody. So the useful version got shared for 90 years, and the true version stayed in a Swiss archive in old German handwriting most people can't even read. Timing helped. In 1935, America was deep in the Great Depression. Millions of people needed to believe that the system's grades, school grades, credit grades, any grades, could be dead wrong about a person's worth. A cartoon promising that the century's greatest genius had been mismeasured wasn't trivia, it was hope, printed daily. The cartoon didn't create that hunger, it fed one that was already there. But run the true timeline, because it beats the fake one. At 16, Einstein walks out of his Munich high school, no diploma, no backup plan, and joins his parents in Italy. Alone, with no teacher and no assignments, he preps himself for a university entrance exam. He gambles 2 years early, crushes the half he loves, crashes on the half he ignored. The ATKR Polytechnic's rector, Albin Herzog, doesn't show him the door, he shows him a detour. Finish school in Aarau, then come back. 1 year later, Einstein posts perfect sixes in algebra and geometry and takes his seat at the Polytechnic. That's not a redemption arc, that's an obsession with a paper trail. The myth says genius sleeps inside ordinary report cards, waiting for destiny. The record says something less magical and far more repeatable. For years, a teenager did hard work that nobody assigned. The unassigned work was the genius. Why won't this myth die? Because it was never really about Einstein. It's a painkiller. Every bad report card in America has been treated with it. And like most painkillers, it works, right up until you ask what it's numbing. If Einstein failed math, then an F is just genius your teacher can't see yet. Effort is optional. Destiny will handle the rest. That's the sale. But look at what the fake story deletes. The calculus at 15, the months of self-directed study, the exam he took early because he couldn't wait to start. The comfort version tells kids that failure is a lucky charm. The record tells them something harder and more useful. Einstein's F never existed. What existed was a teenager who wanted the material before anyone asked him to learn it. So the next time you see the poster, the wild hair, the red F, the never give up, remember what's actually true. The failure was invented by a cartoonist. The correction came from Einstein himself, laughing in 1935, and the receipts sat in a Swiss archive for more than a century, waiting for anyone to look.
Some stories were never true. Some truths were never seen right.
If you enjoyed this video, hit like and subscribe so you don't miss the next ones. And let me know in the comments what you think. It helps me figure out what to cover next.